would
Yeah,
have
I
then
do
changed
concede that it
what
was
has
a mistake.
happened. What has
I
happened
do.
since 10 years ago that would have changed whether or not we can establish said deal.
That's not really what I'm saying.
You
I'm saying that
agreed.
Trump's trying
Trump
to find
caused
a
this issue.
solution. I know, and I believe that Trump's trying to find a solution. I mean, we see Biden
Oh
didn't do
my
anything.
God, dude. Okay, why do you support Trump?
I wanted to talk about the Iran war.
Okay, what about it?
Well, so I actually agree that we should be going to war with Iran. I have two major points for this.
Okay.
The first is the nuclear deal. I think that Iran, it's very hard that I don't think we can make a nuclear deal with them. I think after Obama's nuclear deal fell through, I think Obama's nuclear deal was very weak.
Okay.
And there's a reason that Trump canceled it in 2017. I think
Okay.
and then my second point is about the Strait of Hormuz. I think while it's hurting us right now, closing the strait, I think the benefits of it hurting our enemies like China and Iran, it's hurting them a lot more than it's hurting us.
Okay. And what makes you think that?
Well, obviously Iran was
By the way, I'll still be able to hear you. I'm just going to turn on my AC.
okay. Obviously Iran was China's biggest like energy I don't know the word for it, but like they were their biggest like energy giver. They gave China the most energy, and I think that the Strait of Hormuz allowed Iran to become like the oil hegemon of the world. And without it open, it's obviously cutting off Iran's biggest like income source, and so it's making their economy completely be destroyed, and it's hurting China's economy as well.
They're actually still making money off this. They're still making like over $100 billion a day,
But
or
would
not
you
billion,
agree that
$100 million a day,
would you
off
agree
of
that they're
the
making a
oil trade.
lot
So the idea that
less?
they have absolutely zero oil trade is just simply not true. We can also point to the fact that in terms of this, like they're able to maintain this and continue this longer than we are. Why? Because it's going to destabilize our relations all around the world and create such internal pressure inward that it's going to limit our ability to do this in the very first place.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's going to limit our ability to do this because of internal pressures that exist.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. Can we talk about like the Obama deal?
Okay, yeah, we can talk about the JCPOA. The JCPOA prevented the enrichment of uranium to a greater extent
But it
than what
still
exists
allowed
now.
them to hold their uranium, and it still allowed them to like create more like deadly missiles. Is that correct?
So the missile, we don't just go to war with countries because they have missiles. And the goal of the Iran nuclear deal was to prevent them from getting nuclear weapons, not to prevent them from getting ballistic missiles.
But they still had the highly enriched uranium under the Obama deal.
Wrong. It was only enriched to 3.67%. It
Okay.
was capped at that point. There was unprecedented levels of surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facility. You just swiped out the app. I can't hear you.
Oh shoot. Okay. I have notes open, but I can't really get to them.
Okay.
Shit. Uh,
You can go to them, look at it, memorize it, and then come back. Okay. Alrighty. Well, if you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen again. If you want to support me, as always, everyone, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always.
okay. Yeah. So I do agree that that currently in the status quo, because we don't have a nuclear deal with Iran. So obviously in Trump's first term, he should have made a new nuclear deal, but he just didn't do that. And I think you can also knock on Biden for not doing that as well, because
But that's because of Trump. Trump is the one who pulled this out, which undermined that deal. The deal already existed under Obama.
but what would you like going from there after Trump pulled out of the deal? What would you suggest?
What would I suggest after Trump pulled out of the deal? Well, we want to get back
Yeah.
into the deal, but if Trump is going
I
to
mean,
be
obviously, if Biden couldn't get back into the deal,
if Trump is going to be getting back into office, well, then that's going to prevent us from
but why
establishing a
didn't
deal
Biden get
because
back
Trump
into
can
the
just
deal?
pull us out of that deal again.
Why didn't Biden get back in the deal?
Why didn't again, like I just told you, because Trump can just take us out of the deal again. So Iran doesn't have as much of an
But
incentive
so are
to
you
go
saying that
again
when
and
Biden
join the
was in
deal.
office, it was a guarantee that Trump
Dude,
was
hey, when
coming
you ask
back?
me questions, you got to listen to my response.
I know, I hear what you're saying.
Not if you're speaking in the middle of what I'm saying.
I know, but you're making the assumption that when Biden was in office, it was a guarantee that Trump was coming back.
Repeat that one more time.
Are you making the assumption that when Biden was in office, we couldn't make a deal because it was a guarantee that Trump was coming back?
No, not a guarantee. It's a very likelihood or possibility that that will happen.
So
So
why
the
not make the? Okay, yeah. My bad. My bad, bro.
just say what you want to say, man.
Well, I'm saying so. Why not make the deal under Biden and have the deal for when Biden's in office, then try to assume that we're going to go back to Trump and not make a deal because of.
Well, it's not assuming we're going to get back to Trump. It's just acknowledging that there is a possibility, chance, or even maybe a likelihood of that happening, especially with the economic conditions that existed at that time, that would then lead to that happening, right? Because of the internal pressures that existed and how people then blame the administration for inflation, even if they didn't cause it. Right, so it's the internal pressures that existed that would have then given less bargaining power to the U.S. Now, if Donald Trump never had the capacity of coming back, well, then there would be a greater incentive specifically for them to be able to get into a deal. Again, we could ask, why was Obama able to establish the deal? What would be the real big relevant difference between Obama and Biden? The only difference would be that now they know Trump will just likely pull us out if he gets back into office. That's the concern. That's the issue. That's the only distinct fact.
Yeah. I guess I would argue against that by saying that we can't really trust Iran. Even without a nuclear weapon, they still had the extreme rhetoric of saying, like, death to U.S., death to Israel. So basically, death to us and death to our biggest allies in the Middle East. And we can't trust that kind of rhetoric even without a nuclear weapon.
Okay, so you understand that that's why we have surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facilities within the Iran nuclear deal?
Yeah, but I would say that instead of having that, I would say a better solution to this problem is to incapacitate Iran.
Okay, well, then why is Trump trying to get a negotiation done with them?
I know.
That makes zero sense.
I thought Trump's original plan he has still been calling for this, but I think we should call for a regime change in Iran. What do you think about that? Oh, you're gone. Wait, do I not have common sense? Fuck.
I'm here. So I don't think that you're going to be able to establish a regime change. That's not possible. I do think that also regime change, we don't know who's going to get into power after the regime change happens.
Well,
like obviously, I think everyone, if they could snap their fingers, and everyone in Iran is living in a country, right, that is, just like the West within the terms of its domestic policy, right? It's a lot better than what it exists now, right? I think that would be preferable. Everyone would be like, that's great. But the issue is the idea of regime change isn't so simple just to lead to that. Plenty of regime change efforts that have existed have led to worse off conditions because there's a vacuum of power that isn't filled by us, that isn't filled by Western powers, but it's filled specifically by the most radical individuals because they have the greatest proximity to power.
Okay, yeah. Let me go back to my notes.
Okay, thank you for the star map. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Alrighty, give them a second, everyone, to find this information again. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen.
So I'd argue that in the status quo, the reason that Iran is what do you think about their current stockpile of highly enriched uranium?
Yeah, they have that to a higher extent because Donald Trump undermined the JCPOA.
Mm-hmm. And so how would you say that we should go about that? What should we do about that?
How should we go about that? We should get Trump out of office so that we can establish the JCPOA again.
Do you think that they would give up their highly enriched uranium that they have made in the time?
Yes, if we could establish a JCPOA, yeah.
I just personally disagree with that. I think the way that Iran has been talking about us and Israel, I believe.
Why were we able to establish the JCPOA?
Well, because that was a time 10 years ago when we didn't have this.
And what's happened since 10 years ago? That
Yeah,
would have then
I do
changed,
concede that it was a mistake.
What has happened since 10 years ago that would have changed whether or not we can establish said deal?
Yeah, I concede that Trump getting out of the deal and not making a new one immediately was a mistake.
So
but
quite literally Trump. So you're
quo,
saying the problem is Trump. So why do you think Trump is a solution, sir?
Yeah, I'm saying that Trump is trying to make solutions right now. I think that we're in a time and place currently where we can't go back to a JCPOA. And I think a JCPOA is unreliable.
That's because of Trump.
I think the JCPOA was unreliable because it was only a 10-year plan. It was going to expire.
No, it wasn't. It was going to be in place until 2030, dude.
And what happens in 2030?
Yeah, you can renegotiate.
Do you think that Iran is going to keep renegotiating with their biggest rivals?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I do think that. I do think that they
We
would
are
negotiate.
so I
So, like,
believe that.
if you just say, "Oh, I just don't think they will," then why do you think they're going to negotiate with Trump?
Well, why do you think they will?
Then why do you think they're going to negotiate with Trump?
I don't. That's why I believe that we
But
should.
that's what Trump's trying to do, is it not?
Well, Trump's trying to get a regime.
No, Trump's trying to do negotiation, not regime change.
Yeah, he's trying to also negotiate them into the Abraham Accords. I think that would be the most beneficial scenario.
I just like, dude, it's like, I genuinely, is your brain functioning? I'm sorry,
really.
like, actually, like, how can you literally look at this state of affairs and be like, you know what? I think Trump's doing better here. Trump is the one who
I mean,
caused this issue in the
that's
first
not
place.
that's not really what I'm saying.
You
I'm saying that
agreed
Trump's
Trump
trying to find
caused
a
this
solution.
issue.
I know, and I believe that Trump's trying to find a solution. I mean, we see Biden didn't
Oh
do
my
anything.
god, dude. To a problem he caused. Oh my god, please don't support the guy that caused the problem, right?
I mean, everyone causes problems,
Okay, but Harris and Biden didn't cause this problem.
but they didn't help it.
What? You understand that the Obama administration, the Democrats were the only ones that established this, right?
I
So
know.
yes, the
So
Democrats
why
did help
didn't
this.
Biden didn't? Biden didn't do anything about this.
Dude,
He
I
left
already
it a
wa-
problem for Trump. I mean, you didn't say anything about that, though.
I did. I addressed that already.
What?
Are you serious? You just didn't hear what I
Well,
said?
because Trump is going to come back. I don't think. Do you have a better argument?
That is the argument. If you just don't like it, I'm sorry.
I don't.
But that's the argument. That's
honest.
what
No.
exists. That's what happened.
No.
That's the
I don't
reality.
think. I don't think that they wouldn't make a deal just because they thought Trump would come back. I
What
don't
else
think so.
changed?
I think that we're in a different world now. I think that now
Why?
that Iran
What else
Because they
changed?
have this. Because
What else changed? Answer that question.
Because they have the highly enriched uranium now.
They had that back then.
No, they didn't.
Why do you think we wanted a deal where they had to get rid of their uranium?
They didn't have it prior. They didn't have it before. We made the
Listen
deal
to
so they
me,
wouldn't
please.
develop
Listen,
it.
listen.
I'm listening.
You do a lot more speaking than listening when you need to be listening more because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The JCPOA, they had to send their enriched uranium to Russia. Okay?
You think it's better in Russia's hands?
Yes, I actually do.
All right.
Because they already have it. You know that, right? They already have nukes.
Yeah. All right. You have anything else?
Wow, you're just not going to engage with the point after I brought it up?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I agree
These
with
people,
that. I
dude.
mean, that's true.
So engage with the point. How about you apply some critical analysis to that?
All right. Well, I think currently Iran sees the leverage that they have over us, and they see that they don't have to give it up. So I think instead of trying to negotiate with with people who know that they want to kill us and kill our allies, I think we need to go about this in a way that we know that there are.
I'm just going to keep repeating that. You just said we should do negotiation. That's what Trump's trying to do. You just don't acknowledge it.
I don't think we should do negotiation.
You know, when Trump finally gets a deal, you won't be able to say this stupid shit.
Well, and I know that Trump's trying to get the deal.
Do you realize that like you will be proven wrong in like 2 months? Okay, like 2 to 5 months from now, when there's a deal done. Okay, 2 to 5 months from now, you're gonna look like an absolute idiot even more than you already do. Okay. Want to know why? Because everyone knows regime change was never going to happen, except for this guy, apparently. You actually think that. And they use people like you in order to be able to put them in a better position to continue what they want to do. He thinks this is a maximum pressure campaign for a negotiation, okay? It's not for regime change, it's for negotiation. Okay, but the issue is this fucking maximum pressure campaign has utterly failed and put us in a worse position 10 years later. They're closer to a nuclear weapon, okay? We haven't prevented them from any of the other things that the JCPOA didn't touch, okay? So it's like, what benefit do we have? Nothing.
Well, I think the Strait of Hormuz closing, honestly, is a benefit to us.
Oh my god, this is just so stupid, man. Why?
Is that stupid?
Dude, inflation is 3.8% overall items
know,
year over
but we
year.
see
No,
what's
it's
happening.
not. No,
But
the Strait of Hormuz being closed is not better for this country. Have you been to the gas station recently?
But when we look at it compared
Sir,
to
have you
Iran,
been to the gas station recently?
Yeah, and that's a
Okay,
short-term
that's because
problem.
of the Strait of Hormuz being closed.
And am I wrong by saying that the current bump up in prices, being the Strait of Hormuz being closed, those will immediately go back up because they're due to shock from the Strait of Hormuz being closed?
Repeat what you just said. What?
So currently the bump up in prices are just due to the shock in the market of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. So those will immediately go back up. when the Strait of Hormuz opens?
No, it won't because we have to uphold because we used a bunch of our reserves, right?
Hmm.
Our reserves specifically, and when those go away, we don't have as much of a supply that's available. Plus, all
Hmm.
of the shipping has to go back to the same levels that existed prior. So it
Hmm.
will take a while for these things to go back. It's not just overnight.
All right. Um, is it true that since we've seen the Strait of Hormuz close, that the Gulf of America has opened up as a oil shipping lane?
So more people are going to the Gulf of America, but that actually means your prices for gas are going up because that means oil producers are sending U.S. oil to other countries around the world to account for the prices going up in other countries around the world, which then reduces the level of people here. So people are going through the Gulf of Mexico because of that.
But ultimately, is that helping the U.S. economy?
What?
Well, because it's
No,
American
it's
oil.
helping. It's helping the corporations, the oil companies, not
Is
helping the
that our
economy as a
economy?
whole. Consumers are losing out.
All right. Well, I just wanted to come on here and debate a few things, but thanks for talking.
So you do want to respond to any of the points I just made, or
No, I just wanted to I was just honestly trying to learn too. Appreciate you.
okay?